What's up, people? It's your boy MM2K back again. Look, we have a special show lined up for you today in regards to some of the biggest topics of news coming this week. We're going to be talking about the fallout from the layoffs and the Xbox roller coaster. We're going to be talking about Project Latitude and Xbox's move to put more games on PlayStation. PlayStation's crazy fiscal year, the new studio at Activision Blizzard, what's going on with Ubisoft, all that stuff. But right now, I want to drop a weekly bundle of news on you that's going to go into our honorable mention section of the podcast. All right, so first, let's talk about what's going on with the Epic Games Store, all right? So here's what you're not going to want to miss. Epic Games Store is dropping Dragon's Age Inquisition for free. So definitely check that out. Get that free copy. I already got mine, all right? You don't want to miss out on that because they're going to be doing some phenomenal drops, and hey, it's free 99. You can't beat that, right? But also I want to talk about this thing that's happening at in the gaming community with Hip Hop Gamer. We dropped a video on it earlier where Hip Hop Gamer says that he has, quote, official Microsoft gaming news and that they're helping Sony with PlayStation 6, AI software features, AI auto profiles, and so much more. And he says the full video is dropping next week, and I know what Xbox big franchise is coming to PlayStation. You will not believe it, but it is confirmed. See y'all soon. Let me do this. I'm just going to play the video for y'all and shut up, and you can make up your own mind. So let's do that right now.
Yeah, you rockin' with the GOAT of the game, Hip Hop Gamer, Hot 97, New York Stock Exchange, the 660 FinTech TV. I had to come home because y'all been wondering what I've been talking about when it comes to Xbox and all the new messages, right? One thing I can tell you before everything drops, because this episode is the episode you're going to want to see. But one thing I'm going to tell you right now is that Microsoft Gaming is assisting PlayStation 6 with AI software and AI development. So get ready. That partnership is real, it's happening, and there's a lot more you're going to find out that you're not going to believe. The Go to the Game is right here. Let's go.
Absolutely crazy stuff there, y'all. We're going to be talking about that. I want to get Cold Blood's thoughts on it. My initial thoughts, I talked about it in the video. This would be insane. This would be nuts. This would be nuts if true. My thoughts are, look, if there is such partnership, Microsoft did everything that they could to show PlayStation, look, we have disengaged in competing with you in any meaningful fashion. Let's be business partners. Let's eat at the same table. A lot of people that are Xbox enthusiasts, especially that go tippity tap on Twitter, they're not going to like that, but that's the reality of the situation if this information is true. But again, I'm going to ask Cold Blood to get his thoughts on how true he thinks this is, and then you guys can too in the chat talk about how true you think this might be. Also, last but certainly not least, there's this theme going around about PlayStation going to engage, focusing more on engagements than they are going to be focusing on unit sales, right? And I tried to tell you guys on this channel that the way that was being portrayed in some places of the console war fanboy ethos is not accurate. What am I talking about? Well, let me bring you here. Okay. This is an article from GameIndustry.biz. I really like this article. It says Sony's focus on engagement time over units sold makes sense for PlayStation. This is an opinion article. But here's some key things, some key facts in this opinion article that coincide what we've been trying to tell you as far as how this shift really isn't new and is being contorted and misconstrued by those with an agenda out there in the fanboy arenas there. It says here, specifically during the results presentation where this information was highlighted, Sony Senior Vice President Naomi Masuka discussed the growth of operating income in the games and network services division, which houses PlayStation, by mentioning a shift in internal strategic thinking away from unit sales and hardware attach rate and towards metrics of time spent on console and its service. But if you continue on, it's not like software unit sales aren't still important. The company reports those every quarter as one of the headline figures for the gaming division. But unit sales no longer capture the PlayStation business in its totality, since there are now all sorts of ways people could be interacting with PlayStation software and services without actually buying a game in the traditional sense. At some point, quite a few years ago, the company realized that it achieved better growth overall if it focused on that metric rather than just unit sales. This isn't new. It's just that it hasn't been focused on to quite the same extent in the company's financial results before now. Sony has essentially been thinking about its business like this since the PS4 era. To double down on what I've been telling you guys, this is one article from 2017 when this line of thinking started. It says Sony pushing for monthly active users as a primary metric for measuring success. So this internal thinking's already been there since 2017. And I know this for a fact because I reported on this. This is March 1st, 2018, when they made a strategic shift in their leadership. Things happened like Kadora was put in the head of certain leadership. Responsibility at SIE was shifted from Sean Layton, who was the head chair. It was being shifted between him and Jim Ryan before Jim Ryan ultimately took over. In this subsect of news that was being released, they talked about this shift from just unit sales to metrics like player engagement and monthly active users. And I remember there was big hoopla because I reported on it that, hey, PlayStation is trying to copy Sony or PlayStation is trying to copy Xbox because this was something that Xbox was pursuing prior, right? So again, this is not new news. If you read this article, which is a great article, they're telling you that what Sony is doing is they're now going to be showing this metric more in their financial statements when they talk to their investors. So this is news more for the investor side. If you don't have stocks in Sony or anything like that, this is a nothing burger as far as an update in news. This does not affect how they look at their overall metrics internally, because again, as this cites, as we just shown you, other articles from 2017 have showed you. And then I can tell you when the big boom really started to happen internally, when they actually shifted their internal leadership to match these new metrics. This is not something new. Again, this is something that they've been focusing on a while, but then now they're going to show them in their financial statements, okay? We're going to be talking about all this as I get Cold Blood's assessment on this. But again, this is just our honorable mentions. Like I said before, we're going to be talking about the Xbox roller coaster. We're going to be talking about the PlayStation dominance. And then in our game review section or publisher review section that we do in each show, we're going to be looking through the microscope at Ubisoft. As you know, I've been very, very positive as far as Ubisoft as a publisher. I know a lot of people turn their nose at that, but what y'all don't look at on the periphery is that Ubisoft has a lot of players engaged in their titles. They just have these lofty financial goals that they cannot meet. And there are some things that they need to change to meet them. But this whole cancellation of the division Heartlands, among other things, really got me looking at the company side-eyed. If you've seen my tweets, I'm like, I don't have a favorite publisher right now. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get my assessment of what's going on and everything that Cold Blood thinks as well. Again, In a Row Podcast, episode 61 is going to air, or you're going to be connected to it if you're watching this as a VOD. But if you're watching this live right before the show, you'll see our promo for our giveaway, and then we're going to start the show right after that. So thank you so much. Can't wait to see you. Until then, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace. What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It's your boy MM2K of GEiX, Cloud Dosage, Hard Knock Digital Culture, and here MM2K Gaming with this special video. We wanted to take this time to remind everybody that our $70 PlayStation Network point giveaway is still active. And we're still looking to collect as many people as we can to be eligible so we can give away the $70 worth of PlayStation Network credit. In order for you to do so, you have to be eligible. Just a few steps that you got to take in order to qualify. But once you take these steps, trust me, it doesn't cost you a thing. And trust me, you won't be sorry. So first and foremost, what I want to do is I want to direct you to the actual tweet that'll give you the directions. And we're going to follow the tweet step by step so you guys can understand what's going on, how this works, and all that other great stuff, right? All right, so let's do this. Okay, so let's show you the tweet. And the tweet is here. It says Final Fantasy VII Rebirth launch giveaway. We're doing a giveaway for $70 USD value towards PlayStation Network credit in celebration of Final Fantasy VII, Stellar Blade, and other PlayStation 5 early 2024 bangers. To be eligible, the first thing you're going to want to do is click on this link and make sure you're subscribed to MM2K Gaming Streams. Then secondly, you're going to want to subscribe via this link in subscribe number 2 to MM2K Gaming News. Then you're going to join the Discord, okay? And the link to the Discord is here. And then what you're going to do is after you do those 3 things, watch our Final Fantasy VII Rebirth streams and soon more Stellar Blade streams while we're still trying to collect as many eligible players as possible. And watch those streams via YouTube to get a special passcode. What you're going to do is enter that passcode in the Discord giveaway thread. There's a link to that thread in there. You'll see it once you join the Discord giveaway when you go to our giveaway section. But if you want a direct link to the thread, it'll take you right there. So I'm going to walk through all these steps with you. Okay. All right. So let's do it. First and foremost, I'm going to join at the MM2K Gaming Streams. I click on that link. It takes me to MM2K Gaming Streams. Oh, guess what? I'm already subscribed. But if you're not, hit that subscribe button, okay? Okay. Now you can go back to the tweet and go click on MM2K Gaming News. It'll take you there. Oh, that's the channel that we are right now. So there isn't a subscribe button, but if this was another channel like your channel, you would see a button to subscribe. Click that subscribe button there like we did for MM2K Gaming Streams, all right? Once you do that, then you're going to want to join the Discord, okay? So if you click on the Discord link, it'll take you to our GEiX Discord where you just got to go through some preliminary things. You got to, say which platforms you want to, be part of, the content, stuff like that. That's because this Discord is being built to cater to your gaming experience, right? So once you just go through a couple of quick, short questions, you'll get added to the Discord, and this is our Discord right here, okay? Now, once you do that, you want to go to one of our Final Fantasy VII Rebirth streams that are active during the time of this recording, or we're going to soon be playing Stellar Blade once that releases, right? You'll go to one of those streams like right here. Now, right here, I don't have the code, so you can't cheat. I got into a part of the video where the code isn't up yet, but just watch one of the streams. Just watch one of our fantastic Final Fantasy VII streams with the homie Cold Blood Sensei. As you'll see the chat getting active and stuff like that, you will see while you're watching the live stream that the code will be up there, okay? The code will be there in the stream. It'll pop up in the live chat while you're there, okay? Once you get that code, you're then going to want to go to this link right here. And that link will take you within our Discord. And it'll take you to this special thread. When you get to that thread, you'll see people put responses down there. I ain't gonna cheat. I'm not gonna cheat and give you the code. But you see people put responses down there. Just add your response to this thread and you will be entered. Here's the great thing about this too. If you go ahead and share this on social media, you will get an additional entry. So you'll get, sorry about that. You'll get a leg up on the competition. You'll get an additional entry. All right. So make sure you do that. Make sure that you click on the link to MM2K Gaming streams, to MM2K Gaming news, to the Discord, all that fun stuff, and click on that link to that thread and add that code to the thread, all right? With that said, appreciate all of y'all. Thank y'all so much for checking out this video. Good luck to everybody. And until next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace. What is up, everybody? What is up, everybody? It is your boy, MM2K of GEiX Cloud Dosage, Hard Knock Digital Culture, MM2K Gaming, and we are back with another episode of Venero Podcast. This is episode 61. Can you believe it? And I am here with your other host, Cold Blood Sensei. Cold Blood, how you doing today, man? Uh-oh. I guess we'll get Cold Blood sooner or later. I think he's dealing with some technical difficulties because he had to hop in and out of the Discord. But Cold Blood is here with us this week. Don't fret. We got Jonathan in the house. He talking about what I miss. You missed my lengthy what do you call it? Honorable mentions video. I recorded an honorable mentions video for y'all, and y'all piling here. For some reason, y'all like to be on CP time when it comes to the show. I mean, I know I've been on CP time before. Yeah, I mean, but you know, Cold Blood is forcing me to be on time. Y'all rolling in 15 minutes after the fact, so we get the show started. I got like an honorable mention or premiere video starting in. It's going to be a separate VOD as well too, so you guys can check it out after the podcast. Then of course we promote our promo. I really like the setup. You guys can thank Cold Blood for that. We might be experimenting with some more stuff, so you guys will, you guys should definitely
I'm back. Sorry for
check your
that.
stuff out. Oh no, that's all right. What's going on, good brother? How you feeling today, man?
Just fantastic, bro. Like seeing you suffer again by banging fucking kaijus, bro.
And I can't even play it and shit. I can't even progress in that one. Maybe I am a trash gamer. No. That yeah, you see him in the chat, that bastard Sean the gamer. Him and Cold Blood conspired together yet again, and they had me playing some shit I had no business playing. It's called Kajai the something Dayton whatever. Yeah, it's some goofy shit. And yeah, man, I was getting tortured trying to play that goddamn game. Then probably like after like an hour and a half of playing it and actually having to suffer through it, I'm like, there's actually a boss fight in this dating sim game. And I'm like, I can't get past the boss and shit. So, oh man, that shit was crazy. But yeah, definitely check that out. There was a video earlier today where I talked about it was a precursor, would have led you directly there. So hopefully you guys went there. All right. With that said, what's up, everybody? It's your boy MM2K. Another NRO podcast. We got a special one for you today. I just got to do one thing. Do I? Oh yeah, I got to get my notes up. Yeah, we got a show for you today that's all ever evolving, man. Like our honorable mention section is going to be a little packed and loaded, so I'm about to get right into it. Let's do this. Oh, that's what I need to do. I need to add you guys' comments in here so we can put them up on the screen. So let's go to our social portion. We do that. Yeah. Yeah. Channel. Be nice if it just did the shit out of it. Comes to this technical stuff, there's nothing ever convenient for me. All right, and we all right, so we got to do that all over again because that's not working. While I'm fixing this, Cold Blood, what you been you been able to do any gaming, and if so, what you been getting into?
Well, not much really. Like I told you, this week was fucking bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I got a little bit of time in Dragon's Dogma because I was waiting on doing the Stellar Blade stream because I got nothing else to do anymore but progress now.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool, huh? We looking forward to some of that, brother. Yeah, I got to get back into Stellar Blade. I refuse to play. I mean, I have opportunities to play other shit like hop in Division, but no, we're going to be, for 2024, I'm going to be focused. I refuse to play anything until I finish Stellar Blade. I might I even looked at Dragon's Dogma, but not until I can get at least a stable 45 everywhere. I'm not, it's an RPG. You're going to be in the cities. But I fucked around with that a little bit just to see how smooth I can get it to run everywhere. But no, as far as playing a game, I'm not playing a game until I finish Stellar Blade. I got to be done with having these games that I like, that I enjoy, and I don't finish them. And then once I finish Stellar Blade, like, there's really not a lot on the scene. There's Hellblade, but that's not my type of game. So then I'm gonna hit my back catalog, like all my games from this year, Grand Blue Fantasy, whatever I have that I didn't finish, all the way back to fucking Atomic Heart last year. No, Forspoken, I'm sorry. Forspoken last year. I'm going to finish that shit, I promise y'all. All right. But with that said, that's been our gaming week. Let's shout out these chats, man. We got Dante Z1. Let's get into it, he says. Shout out, thank you for your support. You out here early, bro. I saw you. Charlotte said, what I miss? You know what the hell you missed, but you created. He said, I'm on CP time because I be on CP time. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for those that have like checked out the stream, that may be coming over from there or whatever the case may be. We got a very interesting show. Again, our topics are going to be the Xbox roller coaster, which includes the fallout from the layoffs, Project Latitude, the new studio that was announced. We also got the PlayStation Fiscal 2023. More consoles were shipped. We're going to talk about that revelation, our thoughts on that. Helldivers 2 was a big part of their success this fiscal. We're talking about that. And then I'll get Cold Blood's thoughts on the two new CEOs. I know he has a lot to say about that whole new approach. And then lastly, we're going to talk about Ubisoft. They canceled Division Heartlands, but what does that say about the state of Ubi since the last few years, where they really haven't seen the success that they were betting on? But before we get into all that, let's do our honorable mentions. All right. And I'm gonna try to do timestamps on this one, so let me actually timestamp this in the actual stream. All right, so we're gonna do our honorable mentions. First, what I want to talk about. This is everybody says, "Oh, all y'all do is complain. Y'all don't really give us no good shit, MM." Well, here goes some good news. Here goes some good news for your ass. Dragon Age Inquisition, the Game of the Year edition, is free on Epic Game Store. And then there's going to be a mystery game later today. I don't even know what that mystery game is. Can we check it out real quick? Check to see what the mystery game is today. Free games. No, it still doesn't unlock for another, not 5 days. Okay, but yeah, you can get Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm going to drop this in the chat right now. Get Dragon Age free from Epic. So if you guys are here on time, hopefully you catch that. If you're here late, too bad, so sad. Early bird gets the worm. That's our early bird special right now. So there you go. Get Dragon Age free. Make sure you go ahead and get that, but bring your ass back here or open up another window. Just bring your ass back here. Get Dragon Age Inquisition for free. There's nothing wrong with free 99 when it comes to games. Did you get your free copy, Cold Blood, of Dragon Age from Epic?
No, because I hate Epic. It has to be on Steam.
You probably dead ass serious too.
Because because I'm an entitled bitch. That's why.
Well, I do hate the Epic Game Store, but if I'm playing this game, I'm playing it through GFN, right? I think it's on. Sean, is this on GFN? Here we go. I'm talking shit. I can play it natively. I can play Dragon's Age, but let me check real quick. Is that shit on GFN? Let's check this out real quick. But yeah, I do hate Epic Game Store. I'm pretty sure though it's improved a whole heck of a lot since it launched. I remember when I got Metro off of there, when Metro was exclusive, and I was like, oh, I gotta play this shit day one, and it was like the worst. Yep, it is on GFN. It's on GFN. What is this? Shadowrun Dragonfall. Yep, it is on GFN. Yep. No. It's the EA app version. Excuse me. But it's not the fucking Epic version. Yeah, I gotta reach out to I gotta reach out to Don. A GFN. Come on now. Come on now. It's not like I'm busting this shit out this week anyway. But come on now. I gotta get that on. All right, so that's that. Okay. Next, y'all saw it. I'm not gonna play it again. I just want to get cold blood start on this. Hip Hop Gamer claims that it looks like he's doing a video at the New York Stock Exchange. So he's gonna sit and be talking to somebody. And I don't doubt it. He claims that he got some inside information though, and it'll be revealed this upcoming week, that Xbox and Microsoft, Xbox and Sony are working together to develop AI software for the PlayStation 6. That to me sounds insane and sounds crazy. And I'm just going to look forward to what it is that he has to see if this is true. He also claims that he knows the next big franchise that's coming to PlayStation. Now, before I pass it over to Cold Blood, I know that last generation Hip Hop Gamer may have said some things that people are like, hold on, what in the Sam hell are you talking about? But this generation, he seems to have been a lot more measured, and there's been a handful of things that he said that people have picked up on later, and unfortunate for him, they've gotten the credit for. Like, first and foremost, this AI profile shit that he reported on. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the AI profile stuff that he reported on, it got picked up by Games Radar, and then they, you know what I mean? Everybody like left him out. So he's been a lot more measured this generation, but we will see. Now we'll turn it over to Cold Blood. I want to hear his take on this shit. Cold Blood, what do you think about all this news, quote unquote, coming from Hip Hop Gamer?
When was you right again? When was the last time?
There's like at least, I think there was about 3 times. And I was trying to find my tweets. There were 3. There was a couple of AI things.
No, okay. Wait. Where's that PS3 remaster engine?
Yeah, that's why I said there was some things that he said that I know people jumped on him about.
Like, bro, I'm telling you, as long as that shit ain't announced, he is full of bullshit. Like he was saying, oh, they're gonna make an engine that can just straight up put every PS3 game on PlayStation 5 without no problems. Like, bruh, nah.
Well,
we didn't see that yet.
Well, here's what I think he did that was wrong. I don't think that rumor is true. There was just an article that came. I mean, I don't think that rumor is necessarily untrue, but I get where you're coming from. Because there was an article that came out last night, I think it was. Jez Gordon and some other people launched it from somewhere that spoke about that happening, that they were working on something that could deal with other previous architectures. I think he spoke about it too powerfully and too impactfully, like it was coming around the corner. And he shouldn't have done that. I don't think he understood what it is that he may have been leaked or he may have heard of, and he thought that it was something that was coming at launch or something like that. So again, I don't know about that piece, But I can see, and I don't know about what happened last gen with the PlayStation 4, because I hear a lot of grumblings from people. Oh man, this dude was saying all types of crazy shit during the PlayStation 4, and maybe he was. But I know at least this gen, there have been some things, possibly even including that you just brought up, that he may have heard of. He just maybe overemphasized on it and made it sound like it was coming sooner rather than later. It could be bullshit like you're saying, but I just wanted to throw that piece in there too, because there was something that came out yesterday that still breathes life to that rumor. And again, it's a rumor. No, I can't blame you. I can't blame you for that take at all, because he's the one.
Until officially announced, bro, he's full of shit.
Mm-hmm. I can't blame you for that take at all. I mean, if they have a history of saying something so boldly, then yeah, you gotta redeem yourself. It's got to be redeemed. That being said, I would say we felt the same way about Tom Henderson, right? When he first announced the PlayStation 5 Pro and the PlayStation 5 Portal, Tom Henderson ended up being right. So I think Cold Blood is right in not looking at this as fact. Like, we don't even know, honestly, we don't even know if the PlayStation 5 Pro is real. We don't. We've heard nothing officially from Sony. So you always take rumors with a grain of salt. I would just say that I'm not going to entirely write it off, but it's nothing factual for me. I'm interested to just hear and see what's going on, because he has been correct on about 3 other instances, and then he's been more measured talking about them. And I think he learned from that. Hopefully he learned from that, and he ain't just jumping out the window on something that is speculative. Like they were. There's a difference. You'll see a lot of insiders talk about shit that was just mentioned in a meeting, but nobody's moving forward on it. It's just in concept, and they're talking. They come to the market. Yeah, man, PlayStation's going to do this, and it never materializes because they got too overzealous. Is the word I'm looking for. Sometimes people talk about things out of turn. We'll see. But no, I think that's a fair assessment. It's bullshit until it happens. Last thing, Cold Blood, get your thoughts on this. The fanboys are out there, and I got a very interesting comment last night on my Square Enix video. I just thought I was just chuckling at it because I was at work. Somebody had said to me, "Yeah, it sounds like fanboy PlayStation pony salt. There's Xbox ponies that are salty about stuff, and PlayStation, the PC Master Race is gonna have fun when the salt mines." Look, I don't give a fuck about your salt mines and all that your dumbass categories for talking shit. All it is talking shit. With content creators have been talking shit since day one, and broadband bullies define your salt content. All right, so I don't give two cripple crab fucks what you think. Facts are the facts. We hammer PlayStation 2 when we need to. We hammer Xbox because they deserve it. I mean, we'll talk about anybody. We'll talk about your mama if she tries to get into gaming and we think she's suspect. She smells like ass, looks like a donkey. We'll talk about her too. We don't give a shit. So you can go to your favorite creator. I don't care. Here's my thing. We like to educate people too. The fact of the matter is that you fanboys are trying to create content on Square Enix and you were off the mark, and you're off the mark again here. PlayStation is not saying, you know what, we're not looking at unit sales anymore. We are now changing radically, and we're going to look at only engagement. It's a great article that was written by GameIndustry.biz. It's an opinion article, but there's a lot of fact in there. The fact that we're referring to that's in here is the following that I'm going to read to you. They say, it's not like software unit sales aren't still important. The company reports those every quarter as one of the headline figures for the gaming division, but unit sales no longer capture the PlayStation business in totality, since there are now all sorts of ways people could be interacting with PlayStation software and services without actually buying a game in the traditional sense. At some point, quite a few years ago, the company realized that it achieved better growth overall if it focused on that metric rather than just chasing unit sales. This isn't new. It's just that it hasn't been focused on in quite the same extent in the company's financial results before now. Sony has essentially been thinking about its business like this since the PlayStation 4 era. To prove that, there's this article right here. Sony pushing monthly active users as a primary metric for measuring success. This is around a period where not only they were pushing monthly active users, but then they were also pushing player engagement. Players, how many players engage with the game. That's why they started talking about that dog shit when Gran Turismo Sport came out, right? And then people were going back and forth. That shit started happening last gen. Also, I remember this report because when I was an Xbot Cold Blood, I reported on this, trying to dig up some dirt when Andrew House was let go, and Kadora came in, I think, and took over for Andrew House, if I'm correct. Something that happened, whatever. Anywho, Kadora, John Kadora's mentioned here. When they mentioned that they were going to give John Kadora a promotion, and he was going to be handling like the network aspects and stuff like that, they simultaneously mentioned in 2018 that they were going to focus their internal strategies towards this. Their internal strategies been focused on this since 2018. This report came out in 2018. It just so happens that in their financial reporting, they didn't focus on this, meaning the shit that they tell investors. That's why they're focusing on MAU so much. That's why they're going back and forth with these PC motherfuckers. And they want to get those MAUs, as Cold Blood had mentioned when we was talking about this over Helldivers 2. So, point blank, if you're not an investor, I know how you guys' eyes glaze over when I talk business. In this case, you're right. If you're not an investor, this has nothing to do with you. This is all about how they're going to frame their conversation when they talk to investors. This doesn't mean that they've drastically changed how they focus on success. It's been about MAUs and engagements as well as sales for the last 6 years. All right. So those are my thoughts. Here's my question finally after all that to Cold Blood. Cold Blood, are you concerned at all about Sony changing their focus slightly more towards engagements or whatever internally? Even though they've been doing this for a while, they're doubling down on it. Are you concerned at all about this?
I mean, fuck yes. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Since when do we look at engagement numbers? Like, bro, this is literally what fucked Xbox in the ass. Like, nah, don't do that.
Well,
you have to look at sales. That is the only fucking metric that matters. Everything else, bro, leave that shit for live service trash. Like,
well,
no.
Okay.
And
well,
if they are concerned about that there's more PS4 players still, well, maybe you should finally get those games out that you've been working on. Like, isn't that obvious why most people still stay on the PlayStation 4? Because they just don't feel like they need a PS5. Yeah, and I mean, I understand. Because PS5 still costs almost fucking launch price. And if you don't like the games they released until now, bruh, yeah. Why the fuck would you change to the PS5?
Yeah, I agree with that. There is a lot of potential of PlayStation 4 users that should already be on the PlayStation 5. And yeah, they could be doing a better job to convert those people. I believe that. I think that's separate though from this. This right here is just literally them saying in our business reports, we're now going to focus on engagements, where we've been focusing on engagements since 2018. Like, that's why they talked about number of players when it came to Gran Turismo Sport. So I don't think they're doing what Xbox is doing. What Xbox is doing is they've completely eradicated sales and put sales on the back burner until like now. You know what I'm saying? Because ABK, they're saying, look, we're still looking at sales. We're still going to report sales. We're going to report sales publicly and within our financial reports. But where you guys, for the financial reports, we're just getting sales, we're going to be talking about engagements too, because it kind of leads back to what I was saying before. Investors are like deers in headlights. They fall for the most superficial thing, and it's Sony's job to make sure that they get the investment dollars. So if Microsoft can convince people, oh, we're still in this and we're still strong, even though their sales numbers are poor, but the only thing that is catching the investors is MAUs, that crappy ass number, then what Sony is saying is, okay, well, if that's how the game is going to be played, as far as our financial reports are concerned, then we're going to start reporting that on our financial reports. I don't think that we're going to stop seeing, hey, we've sold X amount of consoles, or hey, this game sold. They're not getting rid of that. They're just saying, when we're talking to our investors, we gotta change our lingo. That's basically what they're saying. So I'm not concerned at all. I'm not concerned about that. There's some other changes they made we'll talk about later that we can talk about and see, you know, where there might be some concern. But no, they're just basically saying we're changing how we're talking to our investors. Of course, the fanboys are hopping out the window and they're saying, oh no, this means that they're going to communicate their engagements just like Xbox. No, we're still going to hear about how many consoles they sold. We're still going to know, you know, how many copies God of War, the next God of War is going to sell. We're still going to get all those numbers. It's just that when they talk to investors, you're going to see a lot more of them talking about engagements than they have before. But interesting stuff, all the likes, and just more opportunities for people to understand what's going on, opposed to what these fanboys are trying to tell you. And I'm going to leave a link to this article. This is one of the best fucking op-eds I've read on gaming in a long time. It is so informative. I really, Rob Fahey, or Fahey, whatever the hell his name is. I really urge people to check that out. It's a good explanation of what's going on, and he gives us thoughts. So I'll send that to everybody, and I'll put it in the description or something like that. Uh-oh. So we lost Cold Blood again. Oh, no, he's back in. All right. So those are our honorable mentions. Great stuff. Let's see what they're saying in the chat, though. Let's see what you guys are saying here in the chat.
The chat ain't moving.
What'd you say?
The chat ain't moving today, bro.
Oh. Grand Blue got an update coming. Oh, I'd hope so. Honestly, not, is it Get Dragon? Oh, he said, honestly, not even for sure when I asked him about, was it on NVIDIA GeForce Now? Hey, can we get one more like, y'all? Can we please get one more like? We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You guys are getting better at this stuff. But can we get one more like on the scene? All right. I think it's time now. Let's get into our topics. So let me check something real quick. I want to make sure video that I got running. Okay, good. So let's do this. Let's talk about, first and foremost, the Xbox roller coaster. So we got several things happening, y'all, as it relates to Xbox that I think are very interesting. First and foremost, we still got the fallout from the layoffs, right? Cold Blood, like people are still upset. Here goes an article from Pure Xbox that talks about this for those of you that have been living under a rock. Xbox fans react angrily to closure of Bethesda GameWorks. This is heartbreaking. As you may have seen, it was revealed earlier today, or whenever this story released, Xbox is shutting 4 studios, including Arcane, Austin, and Tango Gameworks, with the latter being responsible for Hi-Fi Rush, Ghostwire Tokyo, Evil Within, and others. The news was confirmed by Tango Gameworks shortly after the initial report via a post on social media. A lot of Xbox fans are clearly devastated by this news. You know what I mean? But here at Xbox, Pure Xbox, and across the wider gaming community, the reception has been an angry one, particularly considering the outstanding release of Hi-Fi Rush last year. What else do we have up here? We got Video Games Chronicle that's talking to us about, check this out here. More Xbox games reportedly coming to PlayStation 5 as part of Microsoft's Latitude project, right? And this is reported by VGC. And it sounds like that the rumored Latitude project involves Xbox and Microsoft planning to expand said Xbox games, more of them that is, to PlayStation platforms, especially the PlayStation 5. And then last but certainly not least, we got this breakout news about Activision Blizzard curating a new studio. Thank you guys for getting us to 10 likes. They're curating this new studios. Is a week after Microsoft closed 4 game studios, Microsoft-owned Activision announces a new game studio. Let's first start off with this whole thing about the reaction to the layoffs at Bethesda. Cold blood, let me ask you. How does Tango closing, like of all studios, them closing Tango, what does that make you feel about Xbox's ability to recognize, manage, and maintain the right talent here going further?
What talent?
Maintaining the right talent.
I did not get it.
Like maintaining the right talent of people that can make games.
Well, they fucked up everybody that had talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they fucked everybody in the ass that had talent.
Yeah. That is true.
No, that's my answer. Absolutely not.
So, well, you know what? No, I don't want to get out of order and bring that up yet. That kind of links to the Activision thing, but so, I'm gonna follow that up with, I just don't think that Phil Spencer knows what he's doing. Phil Spencer is not the right person to be in charge. And as long as he's there, Xbox will not have the ability to maintain or recognize who's the good developers versus the bad ones, who they should keep, who they should let go. They have no idea. A fish rots from the head, and Phil Spencer is just bad at the job that he has right now. Doesn't mean that he's bad at every position that there is in gaming, but he's bad for this. So they cannot. I agree. They cannot maintain any talent because I don't doubt Matt Booty when he said we need to have companies that win awards and, have smaller budgets and win awards. But the fact that they let go Tango Gameworks, I wholeheartedly think that they're that off mentally when it comes to this. I don't think it was BS. I just think that they're that off. You have that studio that can do that. They've proven it to you, and they've proven it to you on your terms. But you think you can get rid of them and find someone better? You can get like, what are you thinking? And then we'll get into it later. You think that a new studio can just be formulated, out of thin air that can do this? Are you insane? So no, it's Phil's leadership as always. It sucks. He doesn't know what he's doing. And as long as he's at the helm, they will suck at anything that they try. period. I'm sorry. And I don't know who the leadership is at Activision. Don't really know who's at controlling things at Bethesda right now. It's not going to matter. They're that bad. Next, when we talk about more Xbox games reportedly coming to PlayStation 5 as part of Microsoft's Latitude project, which is kind of crazy. In your opinion, Cold Blood, why do you think Xbox went in this direction, in this third-party direction, where it seems like they're like, you know what, PC in our own console isn't good enough. We got to really lean on PlayStation. Like, what? I mean, I know there's a bunch of things that happened, but what do you think was the most critical thing that happened that made them decide we're putting all of our shit on PlayStation?
Bro, unfortunately, I have to restart my PCs.
Oh, okay, no, that's all right. Oh, yeah, I know. You've been having problems, bro.
Did you hear that?
What's that? Yeah, did I hear? Did you got to restart your PC? Yeah, that's cool. Can you hear me, brother? Uh-oh. Yeah, go ahead and restart your PC. So I'm gonna answer for Cold Blood. If I was Cold Blood, I think he would say, I love Phil Spencer. Boss. Phil Spencer's the best, and he's doing a great job. Now that they have Activision Blizzard, they don't need PlayStation. This is a head fake. This is an April Fool's joke. They're gonna yank all those games off and return the money back to PlayStation. Now, I think what happened was Bethesda. I think the Bethesda purchase was the final nail in the coffin for Xbox. I think Phil Spencer has been convincing Satya for the past several years, like, we really need to compete against these dudes. Satya has been trying to work with PlayStation. He doesn't get it. Satya has been like, excuse me, why are we even competing with these guys? Like, okay, we got these franchises. Why don't we just put our shit there? I really feel like these were some of the conversations that were being had behind the scenes. Like, Satya's probably saying, why aren't we putting our shit there? And feels like, well, because, you know, our consumer base wants us to do this and wants us to do that. And we got to do this, that, and the third and all this other stuff. And Satya's like, okay. And I think he's watching and he's paying attention. I think he gave Phil some latitude to go get those other studios like Obsidian. And I think that was getting Obsidian and putting together the initiative and, you know, getting the maker of Psychonauts and all, you know, getting those studios, I think, was a direct result of Phil having such a decent 2018, even though they had nothing to show for it. I think what ultimately happened, if y'all remember, 2018 was PlayStation's big blowout year. Like, that's when they broke all their records. Like, during that time, PlayStation had never seen as much success as they saw in 2018. We got to remember, 2018 was when they released God of War and Spider-Man, right? And so the shit was just astronomical, kind of similar to our fiscal 2022 or 2022 for PlayStation. 2022 for PlayStation was crazy. And if you remember, that's where we got that crazy Q4 from PlayStation, where they sold more consoles than they ever did. I mean, not consoles. They sold more. I mean, they sold more consoles in Q4 than they ever did. That was because of, you know, just having a crazy year. What came out that year? I think then Horizon Forbidden West and God of War come out in 2022. Let me see. When did Horizon Forbidden West release?
Yes.
Okay.
Both came out.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. So Horizon Forbidden West and that game came out, and it was nuts for them. That's what I think happened. I think that Satya had a false sense of hope with Phil in 2018 when he looked at the fact that they didn't have anything and they still kept it more than respectably close to PlayStation. I feel that affected PlayStation. That's why PlayStation started going more towards engagements. You got to remember, that's when they really started doing it. They flirted with it in 2017. After 2018, that's when they started going full steam ahead, right? With it. And they've been doing it internally since then. It's just now they're finally doing it in their financial statements. So with that being said, Satya trusts Phil. He gives him, he starts writing checks for like Obsidian and the Happy Few or whatever, those somewhat studios in the initiative, right? Because Phil's probably saying to him at that point, look, you've been holding the purse strings close. I know that you want to do a multi-plat approach, but look, if you give my idea a chance, like look at how much money we made. If you give my idea a chance, imagine how much more we can do if we can get exclusives like PlayStation. Satya's not the wiser. He doesn't know anything about making games. He doesn't know that Xbox knows nothing about under Phil knows how to make great games. So he's looking at that and he's like, you know what? This dude might have a point. Let him absorb some studios. So they go and absorb studios and they get to work. Little does he know that none of the studios and none of the things that he's put together is ready for the fucking launch. And it's just not going to be able to compete. He's starting to slowly realize this. This is why I think you start seeing the emails. But then there's a strategic opportunity with Phil getting Bethesda. I don't think Phil gets Bethesda solely for gaming. I don't even think that was his main motivation. I think Phil gets Bethesda because he wants to take Google and Amazon out of the cloud gaming space and also get a leg up on the cloud business altogether. That's why he's willing to spend $8 billion on that. Because what did Xbox do prior to that purchase to really justify them doing that? And you got to remember, leading up to that, Satya Nadella had just got ridiculed about him not seeing how deep the cloud gaming space could affect the cloud business because they had Minecraft still on AWS. What does Satya do as soon as he gets ridiculed about that? He fucking shuts down Mixer. He vows to remove Minecraft off of AWS. And then he buys Bethesda. He does this all in like an 8-month span, an 8 or 9 month span. This guy does this. That's fucking nuts. So he does that. And he's doing that to thwart Amazon and Google. He's not thinking about using Bethesda as leverage against PlayStation because his big concern is Amazon and Google. So I think at that point in time, Satya is like, we're going to still release these games on PlayStation. We're still going to release them there. Let's do it. Then he listens to Phil and Phil convinces him otherwise.
So, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Who leaked that latitude bullshit?
I don't know. I don't know who leaked it. And who who originally started on that. I think it was Windows Central that reported on it first. Now, of course, who leaked it? We don't know who leaked it because it's supposed to be something internal from Microsoft. So,
nah, bro. Like I said, all these fucking leaks right now are so unreliable. Like, bro. I think Jazz just wanted some fucking attention. And he got it.
I mean, I agree with you. We always want to treat rumors as they're not factual until they're proven. Absolutely. For this one, I don't know if he was fed bad information, but
I will believe that when on the next showcase they say Starfield coming to PlayStation this holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Then I believe that shit.
Yeah, but I think the games are coming. I don't. It ain't necessarily because of this leak. I think this leak just adds more fuel to the fire. But I think with everything that we've seen, like what is it? Fucking Fallout 4. I saw somewhere that Fallout 4 and Sea of Thieves are now number 1 and number 2 on the PlayStation Store. Like, dude, more is coming. More is coming. Yeah, I mean, I think this leak just underscores that you know it possibly adds peppers a little bit more detail. Like, it's called Project Latitude. Yeah, I mean, but again, like you said, all this stuff when it comes to rumors, and our mantra here is that it's just smoke and mirrors until it happens. But I will say this. If I'm a betting man, it's happening. It ain't got nothing to do with this leak. It didn't make me believe that. I truly feel like from the beginning, Satya wanted to go multi-plat because that fits under Microsoft's vision more. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? Why he's probably looking at like, why the fuck can we stop competing with PlayStation? Why don't we just become third party? And why don't we just sell our games on Game Pass and put Game Pass on PlayStation? Like, why can't we do that? Like, I think if Satya...
Isn't that easy? No, look, isn't that easy to explain? Like, as long as you have that fucking box, you ain't putting Game Pass on PlayStation.
And I think that's what Satya wanted to get rid of. Yeah, I think he wanted to get rid of the box. I think Satya from the get-go wanted to be a publisher, to your point. I know a lot of people, you know, you included when I said, look, he keeps Minecraft multiplat. I think that he's looking at it like we're a software provider. Like, why are we competing with these guys and we're wasting so much money to compete with them for exclusives and all that other shit? Let's just be a publisher. And feels like, no. I mean, you know, I don't think so. And then I think Satya fell into the trap of trust and feel, because 2018, they had that respectable year, even though they didn't have shit to show for it. They should have been outsold like 2.5 to 1 at least. And they kept it close. They were down like 3 to 2. It shocked everybody. It shocked me. And Phil tapped Satya and said, you know what? Just imagine what we would do if this shit was, if we had games to go with this. Satya is dumb when it comes to this. He don't know any better. He's like, okay, sure. Let's give it a try.
Hey, okay, but then why are we mad at Phil for trying to compete?
Because he failed. Because he's a failure. I'm not mad at Phil. No. That's a great question. I'm not mad at him for trying to compete. I'm mad at him because he's a failure. And we've had to deal with this failure for so long. Instead of having someone that was competent in there that could reasonably make an argument that, hey, Xbox is, you know, competing, even if PlayStation is in the lead. Xbox is, not too far behind. They're keeping PlayStation, looking over their shoulder. Because I think that's the best scenario. Is that when you don't do any and everything out of fear that, hey, if we fuck up too badly, our competition could capitalize on this. And why do we know that's a PlayStation fear? Because it happened to them with the PlayStation 3. So, yeah, I don't think that I think Satya's ignorance towards this is what started it. Yes, Phil wanting to compete. Of course, that's what he, that's where he comes from is competing. But he's so bad at it. He was so horrible at it that he convinced Satya. Now it doesn't matter who's in there. Phil is so bad at it, he's convinced Satya, no, Xbox shouldn't be trying to compete. We need to be multi-plat, which is bad, I think, for gaming. I don't blame Satya for doing it, but they could compete if they just had someone competent in there. He's looking at it as fucking put Game Pass. He's probably pissed too, because I bet you he's thinking, if we would have just got rid of this fucking box like I said, or like how I want it, we would have just curated content, and then we could have probably been putting Game Pass on the Switch and PlayStation because we're not competing with them. Now that we're competing with them, they ain't gonna let this shit on here. And they probably feel if Game Pass was on PlayStation and on Nintendo, then I could get to my 100 million. You know what I'm saying? So those are my thoughts on when everything went awry. I think it went awry with Bethesda. I think once Starfield and Redfall collapsed, Satya was like, fuck that. And I think Arcane and Tango, to be fair to Phil, Arcane and Tango getting let go, I don't think is a result of Phil saying they got to go. It's Satya saying they released Redfall and it was trash. It didn't sell well. We got ABK that's bringing in $7 billion a year, close to $8 billion a year. Okay, we get that this Tango Works got you guys some awards or some shit like that for best sound. How much money have they brought in? How much money have they brought into Bethesda? Oh, not that much? Oh, they can go too. Fuck them. I don't care if that who's Jeff Keighley? I don't care if Jeff Keighley walked out on the stage and said, they win for best sound or best border on animated character. I don't care. Best cell shading, whatever award they won. Now, again, that's not to take anything from Hi-Fi Rush. I believe it's a quality game, even though it's not for me, but I'm just trying to put you in the mind state of a business person in the mind of Satya Nadella. That's how he's thinking. Like, I don't care about that. How much money does this Tango Gameworks make?
Okay. No, okay, hello? But why are we mad at Phil for this?
Why are we mad at Phil? Because he failed.
No, but I mean right now for the studio closures, why the fuck we mad at Phil then?
Because he failed. And it wouldn't have happened if he would have failed. If he wouldn't have failed. It's cause and effect. That's why we're mad at Phil. And that's why the theme as soon as this shit happened was...
Wait. When Satya made these fucking studios close, and not Phil, then why was all the attention on Phil then?
Because Satya wouldn't have made that move if Phil wouldn't have failed so miserably. You see what I'm saying? Like, say for instance, me and you were driving somewhere. We're in some third world country, right? and you're like, me and you are driving down the road, and I'm sitting there being reckless. I'm not looking at the road. I'm arguing with you about Ubisoft. Ubisoft is great. And you're like, Moss, keep your eyes on the fucking road, dude. We're going to crash. And I'm like, oh, man, fuck you, dude. How dare you say this about the Division? And then we crash into some trees and shit, right? And so your arm is broken. But we're in some low resource third world country. So instead of just putting your arm in a sling, they hack the motherfucker off, you know. Now, granted, you can sit there and say, God damn, that was a hack job. God damn, your resources are horrible. You guys did this to my arm. But had I not been driving down that road so fucked up and so erratically, this wouldn't have even been an issue. If I would have just paid attention and kept my eyes on the road, like you told me, like how I know I should have done, this would have never happened to you. So it's like a cause and effect type thing why people are mad at Phil. Because nobody doubts, even the people that are mad at Phil, nobody doubts that Phil didn't want to do this if this was Satya. But Satya wouldn't be stepping in if Phil didn't mess up so horribly. And it wasn't okay. I feel like that had they had that 360 mentality, they could have competed neck and neck again. A lot of people say, no, there's no way they could have been neck and neck again with PlayStation. All these things that would have to go back. And that's fine. I don't think Xbox had to be neck and neck with PlayStation in order for them to be a lot more successful and for what Phil was trying to do for him to be keeping at it. But the problem is that he was so horrible at seeing what worked and what didn't work. And instead of getting the right people in to manage this and be able to tell what quality games are, I'm sorry, this is going to make people mad. I know, especially now that we're arguing about Yasaki or whatever. And look, I'm a minority, and I've had to advise my white counterparts and people that I reported to against this. Trying to just grab people because they look a certain way is not how you handle diversity. And I get a sense from Microsoft that they pick things because of how the optics are. And they're not getting the best qualified candidates. They're not putting the best qualified candidates in the best positions. And that's why they're failing. And it's bad enough when your leader doesn't have a good eye. But that's not the tell-all end-all. Even if your leader doesn't have a good eye, if he realizes where his flaws are and he picks the right people on, it doesn't matter. He can just handle the business side. But nobody under this guy is competent as well. Everybody's failed. Fucking Jason Ronald failed. Like everybody that he selected across the board, they have failed. And again, not to attack Sarah Bond, but we just covered this with the members. What she did was a catastrophic failure in addressing this. I don't think she's in the right position. Xbox is so focused on optics and superficial shit like that, they won't get the tough, shrewd business people in. And you can find, you can still meet diversity needs and stuff like that of people that are competent. You just got to take your time and make the right selections. And I think Microsoft is so focused on optics that they miss those opportunities of getting the right people in the right positions. All these people are failures. All of them. Matt Booty, all of them. So Satya is looking at this and he's like, I'm supposed to be ignorant to this. You're supposed to be my subject matter expert. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. Move on over. I'm giving you the blueprint now. And we wouldn't have, like in that scenario that I just gave you, we wouldn't even see that hack job being done to your arm if I was paying attention on the fucking road. And Phil wasn't paying attention. He was sitting there living this la la land. Oh, I want everybody to be able to game and experience these games. We're going to bring back Phantom Dust and Super Lucky stuff. Man, get the fuck out of here. People didn't come to Xbox for Super Lucky's Tales. You're releasing a console, motherfucker. Where is the badass shit? If you can't make it, you better buy it. That's why people even considered you. He was too incompetent to recognize that, and I think that's why they're failing. They are failing in epic proportions, and it's sad to see. So, but that's my thoughts on that one. New studio announced Cold Blood. What do you think about this new studio? Are you okay with them opening this new studio even though they got rid of Tango? You think the studio's going to be able to do something?
Well, first I want a description of what the fuck latitude even means in gaming terms.
Yeah, I think. Well, really, it's really telling. When they say Project Latitude, I think what they're saying is latitude. Latitude in business terms means to get leverage, to make you higher. So again, this is a code name to me that's inspired by Satya. It's like, we got to get higher with this shit. We got to get better. Like Porter Rock always points out in their recent meetings, they talk about how they need to have like, what is it? High something content. I forgot what they call it. Meaning that our content before this was mid as hell. And we need to start dealing with high demand or something like that. I forgot the term. Meaning we need to go to places where there's a lot of gamers that want quality. Because we don't own or Windows Store shit. Nobody's buying an Xbox. We have nothing. xCloud isn't, wooing people over. We have no way of reaching the masses currently. So that's what I think the project name means is Latitude means, hey, this is going to get us on a higher plateau. This is going to get us access to more people. But what you think about them? What you think about this studio elsewhere? What do you think about them? You think they got a chance to really shake up the industry in the AAA market?
Well, I actually had a question about that one. No,
oh, okay.
I actually had a question first about that.
Oh, okay.
How bad do the optics look to you right now?
I think it's real bad. I think it's horrible. I think it's bad because they,
like,
again, you go ahead.
What did they say about what they want to do? Making smaller games, but more successful games, something like that.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, then why the fuck do we get a triple A studio that wants to make a fucking narrative game? Like, get your fucking message straight. What the fuck do you want? What dude says, nah, we need to make smaller games, high impact and shit. Now we want to make a fucking AAA game. Huh? It makes no sense to me. Can you explain that to me? What the fuck they are doing?
Well, to do that, let me pull this up real quick. I'm gonna pull up his actual quote. This is on Pure Xbox. It says here, article. It says Xbox apparently still needs smaller games for prestige and awards. According to initial remarks,
they need smaller games for prestige and awards.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? So what? The AAA games are just there to fuck up everything afterwards, or what?
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah, dude. You know what I think they kind of mean though, which is still stupid. It doesn't make it. But just knowing this company, I think he's talking about from Bethesda. We need smaller game, and outside of Fallout, in Elder Scrolls, outside of whatever's Todd's doing, from this studio, we want smaller game. I think they've already decided. Look, our big AAA subdivision is Activision. Hey, you, Bethesda, you are going to be responsible for whatever Todd produces that's successful. And the rest of your shit is going to be smaller scale. Like, I truly believe, Cold Blood, Indiana Jones, like we've seen it. It looks like they took assets from Wolfenstein, and I think it's going to be a smaller scale game. I wouldn't be surprised. So I think outside of whatever Todd's doing, it's going to be smaller scale. And I think Activision is going to be their AAA subdivision, and that's it. Everybody else is going to be making smaller AA games. So that's what I think he means. That being said, it's still
dumb.
stupid. Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb. Absolutely stupid. But that's incompetence. It's kind of Satya. I think Satya is like, look, the only studio that we have right now, and then think about it. I mean, this is why I can't blame Satya. I'm mad that he has to get involved because he doesn't respect the art and he doesn't respect gaming. That does upset me, but I can't be mad at him because he's looking at it as, let me give you an example. So just to peel the veil back for our listeners, I'm always talking to you about, hey, you know, there's a lot of prepping and shit that has to go into doing this daily, and I got to do this and do that, right? And so then I lay out for you all the stuff that I need to do in order for us to, you know, get some reasonable viewership, right? And you're like, okay, well, if you claim it takes you all this time to do that, fine. But dude, let's keep working to where we're building our viewership and we're getting people into our messaging and all that other stuff, right? And you see me doing all this shit, but nothing's growing. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing's happening. We're not, you know, we're not getting more viewership. Nobody's seeing our shit. None of that stuff, right? And you look at it and you're like, well, hold on. You told me that you needed to do all this for hours. It takes you this much time to do thumbnails. It takes you this much time to fix this and fix that. And I mean, I'm not saying that I could do a better job, you're thinking, but shit, I can do what you're doing without wasting all those resources. Like, move the fuck over, I'm taking over. How could we blame you? You know, and maybe if you're doing it, maybe the thumbnail doesn't look as good or whatever, but it's still all the same because you're fucking up so bad that it's not that much of a difference. So I say that to say this. I don't like Satya being in charge because he doesn't respect gaming. He's just a glorified Sunchar from Google. He didn't respect gaming either, and that's why they fumbled what the fuck they were doing with Stadia. It wasn't Stadia's people's fault, it was his fault. In this case, Satya doesn't respect gaming. He just looks at it as a vehicle to make money. He trusted the people that are supposed to know how this shit works, and they didn't handle it right. So he's like, move over. You guys aren't doing the damn thing right. Move the fuck over. I'm taking over now. You know what I mean? So That's how I look at it. I look at it as Satya is like, you know what? I may make some fumbles across the way, but this is how I see it. Out of everybody that we've acquired, the only people that I can trust not to waste money is Activision Blizzard. They are going to handle all of our stuff when it comes to AAA. Everybody, now Todd Howard, okay, you showed me some shit, Phil. You're showing me some shit where Todd, he's, he knows his stuff. Okay, we'll keep Todd. You know what I'm saying? Like, but all these other studios, they got one chance to prove themselves or they're the fuck out of here. And again, that's one of the worst approaches to gaming, but it's not that much better than Phil's because Phil is a failure. Now he's fucked it up for Xbox. Like they talk about he saved Xbox. I mean, I'll throw the question back at you. Cobra, do you think that Phil saved Xbox?
He prolonged its life.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. He left it in a vegetative state a little bit longer. And he created the opportunity for you guys to waste more money. I mean, and that's me included. I'm going to be honest with you. If we knew this shit was going to turn out this bad, we would have been better off getting PlayStations. It would have been better for us to get PlayStations and then Xbox become a publisher. And then it probably would have been better because Game Pass is on PlayStation too. I mean, the best option would have been somebody competent coming in there that understands the gaming business. They can not only talk to Satya about why they do, but actually execute on the things that they say they're going to do. So Satya doesn't feel like an ass. And then Xbox still is a contender. But if we were going to get all this, I could have saved myself a whole bunch of money because there's nothing that happened in the Xbox One era that I'm like, oh man, I can't imagine Xbox not being around for that. For what? I can give you multiple examples in the 360 era and even the OG era. There's nothing that the Xbox One did as far as the hardware or the fucking games that was essential to gaming. So if we're going to get all this, what you could have done is just shut the fuck down, Phil not be there, somebody else, he gets his studio head that's a better studio head that knows how to look at games and look at them in a quality way. They create a subscription service the way that he wants, and they put the shit on Nintendo and PlayStation. And then we just get PlayStations and let somebody else come in here and compete. That would have been the better option. Now, Cold Blood, you might laugh at this, but imagine that happening, right? And then here comes Google Stadia. Now, again, I'm just throwing this out there. You know what I mean? Look, this is the comic relief, but it is a possibility. Google Stadia comes in, and then they're trying to compete. Of course, they stumbled the first few years with their goofy ass commercials and the way that they advertise and they roll the shit out. And yes, the media is on their heads like white on rice. But I think what happens is if you don't have Xbox buying Bethesda and then buying Activision Blizzard, if you don't have that happening, they got a chance. That Project Orion thing that they were working on that was going to boost them up to 4K 120 possibly. Them getting Activision Blizzard on the platform as well. Them continuing to do some of the things that they were going to do. Again, do they ultimately fizzle out? Maybe, probably so. Maybe not. Maybe they actually turn it around. But we had Microsoft throw a monkey wrench in them and actually boot them out of the game and make them nervous to where maybe they could have been a legitimate competitor or an alternative in the space. Who knows? There was no benefit to the Xbox One. I can't think. If I'm lying, I'm flying. If y'all think that I'm capping and I'm being a pony bot or whatever the fuck y'all calling people these days, Tell me, what did the Xbox One generation do for gaming? Like, the OG Xbox introduced broadband. The 360 did multimedia. There was a whole bunch of awesome fucking games that came out of the 360. Like, what did the Xbox One console do for gaming? Somebody help me understand. What did it do? I can't think of a fucking thing, bro. I know that's preposterous. I know people might want to probably clip that and say, oh, look at this fanboy trying to say that the hope Xbox that. But look, we probably would have been better off of as gamers if Xbox would have just bowed out back then, had Game Pass, still kept their IPs, got somebody to manage those IPs better, create the subservice that Satya wanted, and then the subservice would have been everywhere anyway. That's just my thoughts. I know people look at that and be like, oh, you're just being a fanboy. Whatever. So, any other questions, Cold Blood, before we move on to the PlayStation Fiscal? Did you have any other questions or thoughts? I'll take that as a no. and Cold Blood's having technical difficulties, so. All right, so let's move on to the PlayStation Fiscal 2023. Let's talk about it. There were more consoles shipped for the PlayStation during this fiscal 2023 than there was during any time period of the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 4 era. Moss, that's cap. Is it? Let me show you something. This, my friends, is the business data and sales directly from SIE themselves. Look in the upper right-hand corner. Can you see my cursor? Oh, no. I got to get rid of that fair use. Hold on. Let me get rid of it real quick. Let me get rid of the fair use sticker right now so you guys can see this is not cap. Oh, where's that? Uh-oh. What'd I do? I got rid of the fair use sticker. There it goes. Let's get rid of that. Can you see that in the upper left-hand corner? That says Sony Interactive Entertainment. This is the business data and sales, and it's cumulative data, worldwide data. PlayStation VR all the way up until December 31st, 2019. This is for PlayStation 4 all the way up until September 30th, 2020. And then PlayStation 5 as of December 9th, 2023 has had 50 million. Okay? So, when you look at the PlayStation 4 and you look at the sell in unit, meaning shipped, that's shipped. These are all shipped numbers. When you look at the sell in numbers, you see that the highest share for PlayStation was fiscal year 2016. That would have ended in April of 2017. It would have started in May of 2016, ended April of 2017. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I got that all wrong. From April to March. Right? So during that fiscal year, the most that they sold was 20 million consoles. That's the illustrious PlayStation 4 that, as of they say right here, as of 2020, sold 113 million. No telling what the fuck it's at now, because as Cold Blood alluded to earlier, the PlayStation 4, via certain reports, still has half of their users are still on the 4. They don't even have a 5 yet. So if you want to call L's on PlayStation, you can consider that an L. I mean, Cold Blood would probably figure it's the same way, because Jim Ryan said himself that they wanted to convert people over to PlayStation 5 fast as shit. And they're making good progress, but they're not doing it at the cadence that Jim Ryan had alluded to. So you could say that they're falling behind, and there's an L. They're actually behind PlayStation 4 sales. Not by a lot, by under 1 million, but even in their reporting, they say, you know what? We are going to expect that we're going to start falling further behind the PlayStation 4. That's completely against what Jim Ryan said. So if you want to talk about PlayStation L's, you can talk about that. That's a legitimate one. Again, this is no fanboy site. There's no fanboy channel, no fanboy platform. We just tell you the truth. We just happen to like PlayStation more as a console. But if you want to talk about a legitimate L, then you can bring that up. But what isn't a legitimate L is trying to chalk up this past fiscal report as a bad one. Oh, and PlayStation is in trouble because the whole industry is in trouble. That's bullshit. Look, I'll go to you again. In the PlayStation 4 life cycle, the most that they shipped was 20 million consoles. That's the most that they shipped. Let me now go to PlayStation 5. Where now in this fiscal year of 2023, they shipped 20.8 million consoles. Where I come from, I don't come from bizarro land like some of you numbskulls. Where I come from, 20.8 is higher than 20. So this year alone, they've shipped more than any single year in the PlayStation 4 lifespan, or during the PlayStation 4 generation. I want to say the lifespan because PlayStation 4 is still around. Okay? So with that said, my friends, you cannot clown PlayStation and say that they had a bad year. With that said, I'll turn it over to Cold Blood and try to get his thoughts on this one. Simply put, how do you consider this impressive at all? Cold Blood, that they sold more or they shipped more this year than they've any particular year during the PlayStation 4? Oh, you know what? He might still be offline. Hold on 1 second. I gotta send this text. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, y'all. So that's the numbers. They're right there on your screen. Thank y'all for joining. Some of y'all coming in late. We're now talking about the PlayStation fiscal 2023. We have the numbers right here on the screen. There's no denying it. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. The biggest year, when somebody says, oh, PlayStation is going through a hard market like everybody else is, when you have Paul Tassi, who I like Paul because Paul he doesn't act bitch made. He doesn't act like some fucking punk. Whenever I've gone back and forth with Paul over shit that he said, he stood 10 toes down and defended what he said. But that doesn't mean that Paul is without his flaws. Paul be making up some trash ass, some trash ass concepts about some of the shit that he says, and trying to make it seem like that the challenges that Sony is seeing with some of the economic, ups and downs and stuff like that they're in the same dire straits as Xbox. Xbox sold 800,000 consoles last quarter when fucking PlayStation sold 4.5 million? I don't ever think that during the Xbox One generation that the gap was that wide. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. And another number that you can compare, I think nobody now here doubts that the PlayStation 4 generation was a failure, right? The PlayStation 4 numbers were phenomenal, weren't they? I think even Xbox enthusiasts can admit that. Xbox enthusiasts can admit that the PlayStation 4 generation was enormous for the PlayStation console, right? Even though during the time, bots, including myself at the time, were trying to make it seem like every year, it was great for them this year, but next year's gonna be bad, like we've always done. We've always done that. And they're doing it again this year, right? The problem is a lot of the people doing it this year, they were around last generation for this fight. They don't realize they're jumping off the same cliff like Wile E. Coyote is. They don't realize that they're making the same mistake. But if we all can agree that the numbers pushed during the PlayStation 4 generation were fantastic, then why the fuck are we trying to say that PlayStation is going through some catastrophic rabbit hole where things are going to getting dire when they sold more this past or shipped more this past fiscal than they ever have during the PlayStation 4 lifespan? Make that make sense for me, please. You can't. Okay? You can't make it make more sense. Well, that's only shipped. Stop the bullshit. Nobody as a fucking retailer orders more consoles if consoles aren't moving. Okay? So basically, more consoles were moving in 2023 than they were in 2016. Period. In the fucking discussion. Thank you for the sponsor. Shout out to Ice Queen Gaming. Thank you for becoming a member for a month. We thank you so much. We appreciate it. Shout out to let's go to the chat real quick before we finish up on this story. We got we got Not Your Mother Now. He says in GT7 also in 2022. He says Jazz Gordon. Yeah, Jazz Gordon first reported on that. And he also says, I don't think it's a leak. I think it's a preventive damage control. And that could be it. Somebody could have slipped it to him. Let's see here. Hey, what's up? Sorry, late. Had meetings all day. That's all right. PS still did better than any Xbox consoles, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. Gatekeep, but man. Paul does fake news. It's not Destiny, yeah. And then I like Paul, because like I said, he's I've detailed that in my video. I'm not gonna go over and make this a Paul Love Fest bromance show. I got respect for Paul, I'll put it like that. Even though people have told me about some crazy shit that he may have done, some fucked up shit, he hasn't done it to me. And I can't validate 1,000% the things that they said he did. So I don't have a problem with Paul. I hope he doesn't have a problem with me. I'm gonna call you out. I don't care, you friend or foe. I'm gonna call you the fuck out. I do that in real life. I do it here. Me and Cold Blood, when we're live on air, we're calling each other out. That's just what we do. That's why we get along so much, because it ain't none of that fake shit. We're not gonna do that fake shit here. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, you cannot compare the dire situation that Xbox is in to what's happening with PlayStation. And I've even heard people say, and PlayStation said that they only expect 18 million consoles next year. Oh my God. Let's look at the number of consoles that the PlayStation, let's do the fucking math, right? Let's do the math. Let's do it right here. We're gonna do the math right here, okay? So they started off with 7.6. We're gonna go year by year. 7.6 plus 14.8 plus 17.7 plus 20 plus 19 plus 17.8 plus 13.5 plus 5.7 plus right? So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna divide it by 8.5, right? So we can get the average. So I'm going to divide this total of 117.1 that we got. I'm going to divide it by 8.5 so we can get an average of how many consoles PlayStation has sold per year during the PlayStation 5. Okay. When I do that, I only get 13 points. Well, I don't want to say only because that's a lot of fucking consoles. 13.7 million consoles. So during this generation, PlayStation averaged 13.7 million consoles. So even if they lower their expectations to 18 million, that's still a lot of fucking consoles. I mean, granted, the year following their biggest year, last gen, they sold 19 million. And what PlayStation could be doing is lowballing a million because they don't want to keep falling short of expectations, which would be the smart thing to do. Stop getting too lofty. Stop trying to cash grab off investor money too much and overshooting the moon. It's good to settle at 18 million and expect maybe 19 million. Because then they'll overreach projections. It won't seem like that they undershot too much because they'll go over projections by just $1 million. That's smart in this scenario when you've missed your projections twice. I mean, look, they still sold a shitload of consoles, but they set out to sell 21 million. They kind of hit it, but then they didn't, technically. And this is already after readjusting for 25 million. That's an L on PlayStation. They deserve that lump. Again, that's a legitimate L. But to sit there and make this comparison, they're in dire, it's dire for them. That's bullshit. So please stop with that narrative because it's not relevant to the facts. And I think wholeheartedly, it's hella impressive that they're doing this because they're doing this without a price cut. They're doing this while we're still trying to recover financially, consumer-wise, from the pandemic. That they can still sell 20.8 million consoles. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. So that's the truth about that. Anybody that's telling you otherwise, that, oh, yeah, PlayStation is going through these rigors. Oh, it's a problem. Oh. And J Gaming, he says, what do y'all think about PlayStation's upcoming corporate strategy meeting scheduled for 22nd, Beyond Boundaries? I see day and date on PC coming real soon. I don't think that. I don't think that's what's happening. Because when you look at the fact that trying to go day and date on PC, how that moves your base, a large enough number of your base over, I think that's a problem. And the fact that you also have, what do you call it? The piracy, like shit. It only took them a couple hours to crack Ghost of Tsushima. They're going to lose money on that, even though it's number one selling. Let's see if it's still number one selling. They're missing out on potential sales as long as their main way of interacting with PC is via Epic Game Store. Let's see something. Let's do this. Let's do Ghost of Tsushima. Director's cut. And let's go to charts. Still number one. No, it's not number one. No, it's popular releases. It's still number one in sales. As far as is that the sales chart I'm looking at? Yeah, it looks like it's still number one in sales, with a 24-hour peak of 61,000. Not bad. Not bad, but they could have been so much higher, right? They could have been so much higher. They could be bucking with what do you call it? They could be bucking with Fallout 4 and Helldivers on PC. Now, Jay, to your point, if they pursue a strategy where they're putting a PC store on PlayStation, then you might have something. But I don't think that through Epic and Steam alone that they would do it. And me personally, I know Cold Blood has an issue with it. I understand his issues. I think ultimately their best way of interacting with PC is through their cloud. Just invest in their cloud and make that available through PC. But if they want to put their own store out there, that's fine to a degree. They better chalk that motherfucker down with DRM and hope for the best. Now, if they plan to do something like that, then I'm with you. But them just going day and date on PC through Steam, I don't believe that. I don't believe that is a possibility. All right. With that said, let's get back on course here. All right. Let's see here. Rundown. So another thing that I want to talk about too is Helldivers. Talk about Helldivers. Helldivers becomes PlayStation's fastest selling game ever. Here's how it beat out God of War. Who wrote this story? Is our good friend Paul? No, this was Antonio Pinquino. He says Sony revealed in its latest earning calls that Helldivers 2, a multi-plat third-person shooter game, became PlayStation's fastest-selling video game ever by selling 12 million units in 12 weeks. That's a million a fucking week. That's nuts. Sony said during an earnings call Tuesday that the sci-fi shooter far exceeded expectations with cumulative sales for copies on PlayStation 5 and PC reaching 12 million copies in its first 12 weeks on sale, surpassing 2022's God of War Ragnarok. And to Jay Gaming's point that he brought up, that's why I don't, everybody's waiting for the full slate to come to PlayStation. When you look at what Ghost of Tsushima is doing, like not being in the top 20, right? Even though it's number one in sales right now, it's not top 20 in engaged and played. And I don't understand why that's not possible. It should be up there. I think there's an opportunity that people see that they're like, you know what, there could be an opportunity here on PC, but maybe it's through our own store, and maybe it's aggressively through games as a service. Like maybe we open a store, we put more of our single player experiences on there, and we get more aggressive with games as a service titles that were released day and date on PC as well. I could see that as a strategy. But that is amazing. If Cold Blood was here, I would ask him, what does he think about Sony taking everything that was primarily Xbox's strengths and making that a PlayStation strength? And what am I talking about? Like, the Xbox 360 was slapping the PlayStation 3 around and really had Xbox in a frenzy because they brought in Western developed games. Like they made Western developed games the whoop to do. And by the end of the generation, PlayStation themselves said, you know what? Hold our beer. We can get into that game too. And then they started releasing games of the Western developed ilk that started to get some attraction. They took it a step further in the PlayStation 4 generation where their Western developed games that they either created or that they partnered on were better than the Western developed games that were on Xbox. That is a huge leap in such a short amount of time when traditionally they relied on their Japanese relationships that ran the day. And so the final thing that you kept hearing, I remember we were hearing this all last year. Oh, PlayStation needs a live service game. We even had some PlayStation enthusiasts that were so fucking worked up about Factions, right? Which I think Factions was a deviation from what Naughty Dog should be doing. Factions was a waste of time, I feel, because Naughty Dog they're not a games as a service studio. And as Bungie correctly pointed out to them, this is going to turn you into a games as a service studio. This wasted time on them delivering their new IP, their next IP, and we lost out because of it, because there's a possibility we ain't going to see this shit until next gen now. There's a huge possibility of it because so much time was wasted on this Factions game. So, with that said, I hear where even PlayStation enthusiasts were so worked up about Factions. A game that was creating buzz, but was more for a niche audience. A game that was for a niche audience, that was pulling resources from one of the best developers in the world that has a global footprint in reaching a multitude of gamers. You're having them work on a niche product instead of them working on their specialty and giving us something new to be excited about on a grand scale. You're going to have them work on something niche for them, right? That didn't make sense. What did make sense is let's get a studio that knows this work, that's about that life when it comes to games as a service. They understand it. And let's give them the resources that they need to do the best job possible. And by them doing that, they struck pay dirt. And here we have Helldivers 2. So all those people that were complaining, oh, we needed a live service game from PlayStation. Where you at now? Where you at now? Now what you want to do is you don't want to give PlayStation the credit. It's all Arrowhead. And then when PlayStation comes for what's theirs, their MAUs, you throw a hissy fit. I don't like how PlayStation did it. I don't like how they tried to roll it out. And I don't like the fact that Arrowhead decided to cut that head off and not put it, not supplement it right. You know what I'm saying? Instead of talking to the gaming community and say, look, we're just, coming out with a full-fledged statement of we're disabling this. Understand this is not going to go away forever. It's going to come back. But right now, for the stability of this game, we are implementing this. That you should have been transparent and upfront about that, especially if you're a developer that understands how the PC gaming community works. You should have done that. I don't like that element, and I don't like how Sony responded to it, but they have every right, like everybody else, to get their MAUs. They have every right to get their MAUs. And from a business perspective, there's some leakage, as we call it in the business world. There's missed opportunities because Sony is doing so well to where maybe they should have more investors involved. Stock prices should be impacted more positively, but they don't have the hotspot MAU numbers and the hotspot to go to the slang business terms going for them yet, because they're not tracking this stuff when they should be, because it's working for Microsoft. It should be a horror story when investors talk about the gaming division at Xbox. It should be a fucking horror story. But you know why it's not a horror story? Because Microsoft is great at manipulating the conversation when it comes to interpreting their numbers. They're great at it. And Sony, not so great at it. So even though they're outperforming in the gaming sector so much, Xbox is foolishly still part of the conversation because they know how to frame the conversation with smoke and mirror shit like MAUs. So Sony's like, well, fuck it. If we started using the same metrics in investment wise, then we could be doing better. And I don't think they have every right to do so. They just went about it the wrong way when trying to rectify it with Helldivers. So I would say that I think that this is a great year for PlayStation. Anybody trying to peg it as, oh, PlayStation is doing horrible and they're suffering through the same. PlayStation and Nintendo were able to make reasonable adjustments to the challenges that are out there from the market. Yes, there were some challenges. There were some stiff challenges. PlayStation and Nintendo have been able to adjust to those stiff challenges and move accordingly and move on, right? Xbox, still under Phil Spencer, still hasn't got over the reputational risk that they suffered in 2013. They're still trying to figure that out. And while they're trying to figure that out, they're trying to adjust to all this other shit, and it's catastrophic for them. There is no comparison. Xbox would be on the brink of closure if it wasn't for the APK purchase. That's the only thing that justified their numbers financially. We would be talking about when is Xbox closing if it wasn't for that. Why? Because instead of looking at the full picture of their bad legacy numbers financially and the fact that they spent $80 billion for Activision Blizzard, and we don't know how that cash acquisition is going to be reported. Like, we're not taking that into account at all. We're just looking at this growth from the acquisition without looking at the debit from it. But again, that's kudos to Microsoft and being able to manipulate the reality of their numbers and still be part of the conversation. They can get away with it this fiscal year. Next fiscal year, they're not going to be able to get away with it. Because by the time we go into next fiscal year, Activision Blizzard is absorbed, and all the numbers starting with, I would say, quarter three. When it comes to quarter three next fiscal year, quarter three and quarter four, there is no more acquisition. They're totally absorbed. And now you're comparing Microsoft in totality with ABK versus Microsoft in totality with ABK. You know what I'm saying? There is no, we're comparing Microsoft in totality with ABK versus when they had them. Of course, that's going to be inflated numbers. Now you're comparing ABK Microsoft with ABK Microsoft. And if their legacy components that they're trying to purge off, if their legacy components are still underperforming, then we're having different conversations, as we should be. So, last part with Sony that I want to talk about here is this new business venture. Let's take a look at it. But before I go any further, let's go see what the chat is saying. The chat is saying, hold on, social. The chat is saying, Ice Queen Gaming celebrates 1 month of membership. Thank you, Ice Queen Gaming, for renewing that, as always. It's all a deflection. They're on a sinking boat. Paul Games says, how much is Game Pass price increase? I don't know. That's a great question, Paul. I think it's going to happen twofold. There's going to be a price increase, and then you're going to get a new tier. Because you can't continue to have, like, there's this report out here that Call of Duty is going to be released in Game Pass day and date. And I don't think that's shocking, but I think that's stupid, but I don't think that's shocking unless you put it in the same tier that exist. You're either going to see one of two things or both. You're either going to see a price hike, you're going to see a more expensive tier, or you're going to see both. I think Cold Blood is back.
Yeah, sorry, had a very important call.
Okay, no, sorry, brother. So you came right in time with this. I think you had a lot to say about this SIE, the new Herman Holst and Hideki Nishino. They're going to be joint CEOs over SIE. They're going to be reporting to the interim CEO, which is the current CFO of Sony, Hiroki Totoki. What do you make of this change? How do you feel about it?
Are we gonna ignore that Jim Ryan did that shit by himself?
People will. People will.
And now two fucking young ass, unexperienced dudes are gonna take over.
So,
like, bro, no, put some respect on Jim Ryan. Like,
yeah,
seriously, that dude did a job that, like they do now, should have been with another person.
Mm-hmm.
No fucking wonder he said I retire because he was probably fucking done.
Yeah, I agree.
Doing work for Sony, bro. Yeah. Because at Sony you have to show results. You can't be a Phil Spencer. That ain't going, bro.
Yep. I agree. Jay Gaming says, "Why do you keep calling me Jay Gaming?"
So was there something else?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you something else, but
because
Jay
that's your fucking name.
Welcome back, Cold Blood.
you can call yourself slimy ass.
Yeah,
so I will still call you Jay Gaming. I don't care.
I said, why you keep calling me Jay Gaming, bro? Who you think you fooling? Oh, how come? Uh-oh. Do I not have the here? Let me go to it.
Okay, you can be Jay Gay. Okay, yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. That I'm not Jay Gaming. Whatever, man. Hey, look, bro. Let's stop. Who are you then? What are you? Who sent you? Who the fuck sent you? Why isn't it there? Let's put it up there one more time. Why do you keep calling me Jay Gaming? Show ass. Yeah, I particularly gotta give kudos to Jim Ryan. Yeah, because he did a lot. And I know a lot of people said, oh, Jim Ryan sucks and he's this and that, like that, like, you know what I mean? Like that job comes with a lot. And did he do everything perfect? No.
He had his fuck ups.
Yeah, he did. I you know, that just proves to you that how much respect you got to give this guy, that in an era where they're actually getting rid of people and they're trying to shrink positions, that they actually split his job role into two. And to me, Cold Blood further underscores, because I know I even had doubts about this at first, but it further underscores to me that Jim was being totally authentic and honest when he was like, I'm leaving this position because this is too much for me. It's too much. It's too cumbersome. If Sony, trust me, and like I said, in the climate where you're actually getting rid of people, you're not splitting these responsibilities up if there's not legitimacy to what Jim is saying. I know people are like, they gave him a party to make it look good. Now they're throwing away money to make it look good too. Nah, bullshit. I'm not buying. So yeah, it looks to me.
Sony got the message. No, look, Sony got the message this time. Mm-hmm. It's just too much for one person.
Yeah.
That dude was just a fucking veteran of the industry, so he could handle it for a while.
Yep. We agree. Totally agree. So, all right. Those are our thoughts on that. Cool stuff. I'm not.
No, wait. Are we not gonna talk about Herman and fucking Nishino?
Oh, what are your thoughts on them? That's why I was asking. Like, what is your overall thoughts on this? What do you think? What's your thoughts on them?
You know my thoughts about Herman, that he is still inexperienced and should not have been CEO at all. Of nothing. Yeah. He should have at least needed another 5 years as the PlayStation guy.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't disagree
like the
with
PlayStation
that.
Studios guy, you know?
Yeah. I can't disagree. That is a little concerning.
I mean, with Nishino, I don't know his credentials. I have no idea. Like, what did he do before that?
I don't know.
Do you know that?
I know nothing about this dude at all.
What is his full name?
He is Hideki Nishino. I know nothing about this dude. So it's hard for me to say anything.
Hideaki, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's look that up. What is his credentials? Shit, LinkedIn makes you sign up for it. So yeah, he's the dude that has made some of the shit that is now in the PlayStation 5, like the accessibility controller, system updates, cloud gaming, PlayStation Portal. That's all his shit.
Oh, okay.
So I guess he is the right person then.
Yeah. He might be.
But like I said, with Herman, bro, I will not applaud him becoming CEO until I see results. That's what I said under one of those Twitter posts one time. Because what the fuck are you applauding him for? He did nothing yet, in my opinion.
Now, Not Your Mother says Herman has co-founded Guerrilla. He's been in the business long enough. I mean, his experience as a studio head.
Oh, look.
I mean,
no.
Yeah,
look. Yes. Okay. He was a developer. He sure has a lot of experience in the industry. Yes. But does he have the experience to be a fucking CEO of a big ass company?
No.
I don't think so. I mean, not yet.
I mean, I'll be honest with
but
you.
We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. And I will apologize when that motherfucker brings out GTA 6 exclusive to PlayStation. That I fucking apologize, bro. that'd be ridiculous.
I will be honest. I don't have anything against. I don't have anything against Herman Hulse as far as what he's done or the job that he's done. I mean, I don't think it's bad, but I was questioning his fast rise. Like, is he that? He must be that talented if he keeps, you know what I'm saying, getting promotion after promotion. Like, I was surprised that he was made head of studios just because he was the head of Guerrilla. I didn't think that, like, Guerrilla was not like, you could see someone with the experience and the chops of a Neil Druckmann maybe being offered head of studios. Herman Hulse because of Guerrilla, that surprised me, but he was there. Yeah, but to be taken from head of studios to this position, yeah, I'm like, wow, is PlayStation starting to lack talent? Like, are they they running dry their talent over there? But again, I have nothing negative to say about the guy. It was just a little alarming how fast he's risen up the ranks. where PlayStation normally deals with veterans. You know, you see veteran people step into these roles, people that have decades worth of experience under their belt. You know what I mean? So we'll see what he does. I'm with you. The other guy seems like he's technically sound because he's going to be dealing with the hardware part or whatever, and he's great with the Portal. He seems like he knows what he's doing there. Great, fantastic. I guess Herm is. They feel like he's doing a bang out job with the studios. You know what I mean? So what can I say? We'll see. He said he knows Herman has done nothing. He's his insider here. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree that.
Wait. Is that supposed to be directed to me?
Yeah. I think it is.
Was that comment directed at me now?
Yeah, it is. I think it is. I think he's saying, yeah, like you know what you're talking about. T. Harris is taking you out to task.
What I said, bro. That's not how I meant that. No, what I said, Herman did not do enough to warrant him being a fucking CEO. Like, he just came in 2019, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, but I heard you. Yeah, he just got the Worldwide Studios job. What in 2018? 2019? Oh, you're breaking up, brother.
Okay, so what did he do?
Cold Blood, try to hop out and hop back in. You're breaking up.
Not much.
You're breaking up. You try to hop out and hop back in. Oh. If you can hop back. He's been hit at studios. They coming for Cole. They coming for you, brother. Hello. Still having difficulties. They coming for you, brother.
No.
Yeah, say something else. Yeah, you're still botting a little bit. Say something else. You might be good now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, you sound a little bit better there. Yep. They coming for your head, brother.
Okay, so now, again, since 2019, what did he do? Can someone answer that?
Not Your Mother says he's been the head of studio since. But this is what Not Your Mother's saying. He's been the head of studio since 2020.
Oh no!
Well, hold on. Let me hold on.
Hell no, we are not doing this.
Well, hold on. Let me finish reading it, then you respond, because I'm for the audio people to understand what's being said. He's been the head of studios since 2020. He's the one responsible for everything that came out since then. Go ahead.
Hell no. That's total bullshit. You think these games were done in 1 year or 2 years? Nah, this shit was greenlit under Sean Layden. Most of it, probably. Like, what the fuck did he do? That's what I want to know. Which of these projects was his responsibility? Because I can name you one of them. Besides fucking Concord and Fair Games now, which I absolutely despise. Just thinking about a multiplayer game from Sony, bro, I get fucking mad. Okay, you can say he was responsible for Last of Us remake and Last of Us 2 remake. Congratulations.
Sorry about that, y'all. Okay. So, all right. Well, yeah, they coming for you, brother. He says Neil was Neil, the real engine behind
So
Naughty
you
Dog.
gonna
With the people
congratulate him? No.
Hello.
Huh?
Say no. We couldn't hear that. Say that again. What were you saying?
Yo, are they even hearing me?
No, now we're hearing you. You broke up for a little bit. We can't hear you now. Uh-oh.
Hey, not your mother. Sure. But who brought all and
Oh yeah, you're botting bad now, bro. Oh man, I don't know what's going on.
God.
Yeah, you're botting bad.
Swear to God, what's wrong with this mother?
Oh no. Yeah, you're botting. They trying to keep you from telling the truth. They don't want Cold Blood to tell the truth. And say something, brother. And so he's been head of the studio since 2020. He's the one responsible for everything. Neil was the real engine behind Naughty Dog. Get back in here, laugh out loud. They want this brother bad. They said McDonald's requires a PSN account in order to this brother. He said, Doriega says, I can't speak until I see what they do. I don't know yet. Yeah, I'm with you, Doriega. I really don't have any complaints yet. We'll see. I mean, yeah, not Jim Ryan. Herman Hulse's rise to the top has me concerned a little bit. Like, are they starting to exhaust talent there? Because PlayStation has been known to be putting industry veterans in there, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. Herman Hulse doesn't have that lineage that everybody else has. Go ahead. Go ahead. All right, now I can hear you. Now we can't hear you again, brother. Uh-oh.
So boring.
No, it's a combination of stuff. It's like you're botting, and then I can see you talking, but you're not saying anything. It's crazy. Not Your Mother says, no. The push for games as a service games was Jim Ryan's idea. Says Not Your Mother. Yeah, something's going on. Not Your Mother. He's trying to fix it.
The hell.
Okay. Hello? Yeah. So you're talking, but it's either botting or it's not coming through. Very rarely are we able to understand what you're saying. So.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Okay. I ain't gonna let y'all beat up on my brother, man. Y'all ain't gonna get on my brother's case, man. He said, who would want Neil at this point? He is not to be trusted at Naughty Dog at this point until we see. Well, T. Harris, I don't think that's fair. I know people are upset of what's happening with Neil. I mean, but that's not their fault. If anything, you can blame Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan wanted them to take the time to make Factions, instead of just making Factions the standalone game that they wanted it to be. This was all part of his this games as a service push. And as they kept building on it, it was absorbing more of their time. And this is what Jim Ryan wanted. And then when Bungie steps in, Bungie says, look, man, y'all realize that if y'all want this, y'all got to be about that life. Like, for instance, imagine Helldivers scenario, but instead with Factions. It's all hands on deck if Faction launches like the way Helldivers did. It's all hands on deck. They're not working on anything else but Factions, and it's going to be that way for a long time, meaning this new IP, Last of Us 3, whatever it is, it's not happening, bro. It's getting pushed back. So I can't blame Neil for that one. This is not Neil's fault. in my opinion, that's Jim Ryan. That's where there's the chinks here and there in Jim Ryan's armor. Even though overall he looks strong and he looks even stronger today to give his job to two people, that's where there's chinks in his armor. That was Jim Ryan's doing, making that big push for factions to be games as a service. I understand why they did it, because, you know, there was the fear out of the Activision Blizzard deal being announced, and they were like, oh no. And they had to tell investors, oh, we got a plan going, and they had to push further on that plan, but it was to a cost. If Naughty Dog was able to make factions and keep it at the scale that they had originally planned, Factions is out already. We're probably enjoying the shit out of it, or the people that it's for are enjoying the shit out of it. And they probably would have been working on their new IP. They would have had like a small development team, I guess, throwing shit in there periodically. But because Jim Ryan had these huge games as a service aspirations, that's what happened with Naughty Dog. So again, I you know, but even when it comes to Naughty Dog, Neil Druckmann hasn't been at Sony forever. He came from well, yeah, but he's been there a lot longer than, you know, so I could understand Neil Druckmann being head of studios. But you can't blame him for what happened with Factions, bro. Coldblood says, I will give credit to Herman Hulse for Last of Us 1 and 2 remake. Everything else was long in development before he came. And I meant, what do you say? I meant, what new game did he greenlight? What did Helldivers? I think we had this discussion before Coldblood. Like, I think we're kind of skimming a little bit on what Herman Hulse, like Helldivers 2. To start. When did Helldivers 2 start? There was one game I can't think of start production. Okay, so Helldivers 2 started in 2016. So yeah, it wasn't Helldivers 2. I feel like there's something. What is Spider-Man 2? Because we already talked about this and we looked this up. Maybe not Spider-Man 2. I feel like there's something. I feel like there's a game that we're missing that he greenlit. But I could be wrong. But still, like, they still had to oversee the game being, you know what I mean, the game coming across the finish ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, it may have started in 3 years prior to him taking over, but the remaining 5 years he had to oversee it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't take that. Like, every studio head, they only get credit for the games that they bring in. You got to give them credit for seeing the games through. They still got to manage them and make sure that they come out right. Now, to Coldblood's point, we got to see what games get greenlit under Herman Hulse. Well, we're not going to see them. Well, yeah, we're going to see them because we got to see what games get greenlit under him from the very beginning. That'll give you a taste of, is it just a situation where someone before him came in, set the groundwork, got these things going off in a good motion, and he just had to carry them along the way? Like, if you think about, let me give you an example for American football term. There's Mike Tomlin, where a lot of people were questioning, is Mike Tomlin overrated for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Because when he came in, all the people that he was winning with were picked by the coach prior. Like, so that's part of his legacy, is that he's living off the fruits of another coach. So that's what Coldblood is kind of saying. Like, Herman Hulse is living off of the fruits of the person that was in charge before him. Now, to Herman Hulse's credit, he still had to see the shit through to the end. Just like, you know, you could say that about Mike Tomlin, but Mike Tomlin still had to coach these people. They still had to win games. But, you know, the complete impact of what he's able to do is proven when you see what he greenlights. So I kind of get both sides of this discussion. You know what I mean? So. But y'all are cutting it up in there. All right. So here's what I want to do. We're going to get off of that because we're running over time. And the last thing I want to talk about is the Ubisoft woes. This is just going to be real quick. Look, Ubisoft has canceled Division Heartlands. And the development of Division Heartlands it's been confirmed to be done with kaput. This move supposedly aligns with Ubisoft's strategy. Well, they not supposedly, but they said it does. It aligns with their new strategy to focus on bigger opportunities, like its upcoming projects such as Call of Duty style FPS X Defiant. The decision reflects the company's shift in priorities and resource allocation, aiming to maximize its efforts in areas with potentially higher returns. Players expressed disappointment with the closed beta experience, citing issues with gameplay and systems in some regards. Speculations also arise on whether the cancellation is related to the future of the Division franchise. Concerns about the industry's approach to game development and the impact of cancellations on developer service. Look, I am not blaming this on, like, again, this was my favorite publisher. I don't cap for you just because I like you. If I like you and you're fucking up, I want you to do better, so I'm going to tell you about it. I don't like this storyline being developed in the community about, oh, well, they're just suffering through tough times in the industry. No, it's making it worse. But like we see, when you on top of your shit, it don't matter if the times are rough. You're able to still stay afloat. Whether times were rough or not, Ubisoft is just creatively bankrupt right now. And I think the only studios that can stay afloat, that have some type of creative balance to them, is Massive Number One, the studios behind Rainbow Six Siege, and maybe what they're trying to do with this new Assassin's Creed. Who knows? We'll see. Like the team behind Odyssey. I heard that they're the team behind this new Assassin's Creed Shadowrun or whatever it's called. Like that, outside of them, I don't have any faith of any Ubisoft studios. They are creatively bankrupt. They even went to their best studio and said, oh, you got this Avatar franchise. Why not make it like Far Cry? That was the dumbest thing ever. Like, people are suffering through Far Cry burnout. Why would you make the game like Far Cry? And you're undermining their talents by doing that. This smells desperation to me, because I feel like what's happening is that Ubisoft they just can't. Ubisoft just can't. How can I say this? Ubisoft's problem, and I know if Cold Blood was here, he would argue differently. And I was really saving this phrase for when he's in here, so hopefully he can hop back in here before we close out. Ubisoft's problem isn't the variety of their games. Because let's be honest, and I know I'm going to make a lot of PlayStation enthusiasts upset when I say this, but it's the truth. When you look at the games that you guys, including me, want the most from PlayStation, it's God of War, Ryzen, Naughty Dog, Inspire Games, right? When it comes to the AAA games, outside of a Ghost of Tsushima that varied it to a degree, and what Insomniac does, PlayStation has a formula that isn't too varied in its core elements. It's third person, over the shoulder, climbing, puzzles, right? That's not super varied. But what makes those games so great is that they're carefully crafted. They're carefully crafted, and even though there might be slight variations, God of War is more melee. Horizon is, longer distance attacks, but a lot of the core elements are the same. You know what I'm saying? In where you have Last of Us is a mixture of both. They are carefully crafted. So it's not that, Ubisoft is horrible because they do Far Cry, they do Division, they do Rainbow Six Siege, and then they do Assassin's Creed. Like those are 4 different variations of game styles. Their problem is that they just bloat the shit out of their games for the most part. And there's not a lot of substance there to where you can look at those. You can look at God of War, Last of Us, and even though there's memes out there of there being comparisons to, what do they call it, the PlayStation template, they are carefully and masterfully crafted. And so my suggestion for Ubisoft is, A, start looking at development talent and studio heads that can think outside of your normal box, that have successfully done it before, like me, Cold Blood, and Sean the Gamer got into this big debate on Cloud Dose's channel because we were all in agreement that yes, studios want to try new things, but I doubled down on don't just try it and you have no experience in it. Like, you need to get people that know what they're doing so you can do this right. I'm real big. That's just the business guy, the exec part of me. I am not for wasting resources. If you're going to try something new, great. Study, get consultation from the right people, and get hands on the job so you do this right. That's what Ubisoft needs to do. They need to go outside of their funnel, and they need to start bringing in new talent that knows how to do other things. Secondly, they need to start segregating their games as a service aspect from their single player narratives. I feel like even in a game like Assassin's Creed, have a guardrailed story element, single player element that people can finish 10, 15, 20, 30 hours, then be done with it. Then have a new game plus that has you explore the more open world where you can do a multitude of things out in that open world, right? That's 2. 3, I think the most important thing that they can do with what they have, fire your studio heads outside of Massive and get more people in that are better at making games and better at designing games. Your studio heads apparently suck. They suck. They don't know how to innovate enough. They suck. So those are my thoughts on Ubisoft's woes. Again, I think it's threefold. Get the right people in so you can start doing more stuff. Secondly, stop trying to make everything games as a service only. Thirdly, start developing games better. Hold on one second. Oh, shoot. All right. So with that said, I appreciate everybody coming through. Cold Blood, did you have any thoughts on Ubisoft, or is your mic not coming through yet? Nope, he ain't coming through. All right. Well, that's our show, folks. And I got a meeting that I got to go to too. I'm sorry about that. I will get back with you guys shortly. We're going to drop a video on here. For those that missed the beginning of the podcast, that video that led into the podcast, the live podcast, we're going to drop that in video format. We appreciate everybody. Sorry, Cold Blood. I'm apologize on this. I know he would save himself if he could. We apologize for his technical difficulties, but we thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. Until next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.